Okay guys, so we are in part 3 of the how to calculate your calories to hit your goals series. If you've just stumbled upon this video, please go back and look at part 1 and part 2 first, because it's important we follow the linear order that we've set out to help you in part 1 work out your calories for maintenance to stay at the same weight, then to work out your calories to accumulate fat loss, and then after that now we're in part 3 to look at your calories for muscle gain. So I hope you've enjoyed the maths lessons. The more you do this, we're all at different levels, so it depends on how you have digested this, but the more you do this, if you have struggled, drop me a message, but it does become easier as time goes on. We're going to get into it with understanding the principles of muscle gain, and then we'll get into a few of the numbers. So let's go. Stay with me. So if you want to gain muscle mass, you need to eat more calories than your total daily energy expenditure. To gain weight, you must be in a calorie surplus, coupled with a rigorous training program following the principles of progressive overload. Those extra calories will be put to building new muscle tissue. So, progressive overload is really important that you focus on doing this each time. So you are progressing week on week with your weight training. It's important, the principles of this are basically you either progress with your weights for the same amount of reps each week, or you flip it around and you progress with your reps for the same amount of weight each week. That's some form of progress. And it's the same with even reducing your rest periods and challenging your body a bit more. Your body will adapt and adjust. It's so powerful to actually change, but the more you challenge it and progress, coupled with being in a calorie surplus, you're going to accumulate more muscle tissue essentially. So eating substantially more than what is required to build new muscle inevitably leads to excess fat gain. Therefore, the trick to minimizing fat gain while trying to build muscle is to use moderate calorie surplus instead. So this is giving your body just enough to grow, to be stronger, to be faster, without being fatter. So we know this process as lean bulking. So it's all about maximizing muscle gain while minimizing fat gain, okay? I'm going to give you a few numbers here to kind of look at what we should go for in terms of my numbers to do this, and then we can progress from there to work out my macronutrient goals. So, to build muscle and limit fat gain, you need to consume roughly 200 to 300 calories above your total daily energy expenditure. So remembering my number for my maintenance level to stay at the same weight is 3,171. We're going 200 to 300 calories over. So we're going to use 300 calories as an example. We're going to find the number which is 3,471. And we need to have this consistently day in, day out to gain muscle, okay? So when starting a mass gaining phase, it's normally recommended that you get your surplus calories from carbohydrates, as this will fuel your performance in training, enhance recovery, and prevent muscle breakdown as well, alongside protein. So make sure your protein is high and in a good place too. Carbohydrates in particular also help to raise the insulin levels, which is great for shuttling nutrients into your muscle cells needed for repair and growth as well. Are you ready for the maths? Here we go. So, remembering this from video number 2 or part 2, when we worked out our calories for fat loss, it's the same structure here. Then we work out our calories for muscle gain, which is going to come from the carbohydrates, as I mentioned. So with protein being at 1 gram per pound of body weight, okay, fats being between 0.3 to 0.5, but we use the example of 0.5 grams per pound of body weight. Then we use the remaining calories to find out our carbohydrate target, okay? So with protein being at 1 gram per pound of body weight, so remembering my weight in kilograms, which is what I like to do, is 94 kilograms at this moment, times it by 2.2 to work out your weight in pounds, 207 pounds. So that equates to 1 gram per pound of body weight, 207 grams of protein is what we need to still consume, okay? And we use that 207 times by 4 calories per gram, which is coming from protein, and that gives us 828 calories coming from protein. When we use 0.5 from fats, times by 207 pounds, gives us 103.5 grams, and that translates to 9 calories per gram when times together to make 931.5 calories, okay, coming from fats. Again, from the last video, almost like a disclaimer, fat can range from 0.3 to 0.5 grams per pound of body weight. Adjust up or down based on your own dietary preferences. If you enjoy eating a higher fat diet, use the 0.5 multiplier. And if you enjoy higher carbs, lower fat, use 0.3 as that multiplier, okay? So, carbs are determined by subtracting your protein and fat calories from the daily caloric target total, then dividing by 4 to get the number of carbs you eat per day, as each gram of carbohydrate contains 4 calories, as I mentioned before. So calories left after removing protein and fat calories. We looked at the new surplus that we created for muscle gain, 3,471 calories. Take away 828, which comes from protein, and then take away also 931.5, which comes from fats. And then that equals 1,711.5 calories, okay, from that we can put into the carbohydrates. So that number, that new number, we divide it by 4 to get the total grams per, from carbohydrates. So remember, 4 calories per gram, okay, so divide it. And this will give us 427.8 grams of carbohydrates, which gives us our new macronutrient target for muscle gain, which is the same as what we had here for fat loss. But then the carbohydrates are our primary energy source. We need more this time, so 427.8 grams of carbs each day, okay, consistently. So I hope that made sense. Final thoughts on that. If you find that you are not you're not gaining at least 0.25 pounds per week, add another 100 calories to the daily caloric intake. If, however, you're gaining over 1 pound per week, reduce your calorie intake by 100 to 200 calories, because like I said, there is that threshold or that fine line between putting on too much weight, which accumulates into still muscle tissue, but then you're going to be accumulating body fat as well. So when we're talking about lean bulking, make sure you manipulate this as required from here as well, okay? So if we're getting too much weight, too fast, body fat is going to be piling on. We're going to be getting stronger, absolutely. We might be seeing more in the stomach, or wherever your body accumulates body fat quicker, you'll start to see that go up faster as well. So we want to make sure we limit this as much as possible. So we're eventually going to have to spend more time cutting later on if we are too much in a surplus. If we're too high with the surplus, you will get bigger, you will maximize muscle gain, especially when your protein's high, but then you're going to put on a lot of body fat. There's examples on my Instagram page where I went through a massive bulk with one of my coaches, and there was a reason we did this, but you'll see that I accumulated quite a lot of body fat along the way too, which it was quite a tricky one to digest mentally, but we eventually had to do a lot more physically as well as mentally to cut that body fat too. So why not just be efficient and not over-induce and not have too much in terms of calories into the body? So yeah, save yourself a job from cutting as well. So I hope you enjoyed that video or that whole series, part 1, part 2, part 3. Let us know in the Facebook group or drop me a message on Instagram, tag me in your stories. Let me know if you enjoyed these. Recommend these to a friend. This member hub is really important for me, and I hope you're getting a lot of value from it too. I'll see you in the next set of videos. Take it easy.